Surah An-Nahl, Surah number 16. Verse number 91.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وأوفوا بعهد الله إذا عاهدتم ولا تنقضوا الأيمان بعد توكيدها وقد جعلتم الله عليكم كفيلا إن الله يعلم ما تفعلون ولا تكونوا كالتي نقضت غزلها من بعد قوة أنكاثا تتخذون أيمانكم دخلا بينكم أن تكون أمة هي أربى من أمة إنما يبلوكم الله به وليبينن لكم يوم القيامة ما كنتم فيه تختلفون ولو شاء الله لجعلكم أمة واحدة ولكن يضل من يشاء ويهدي من يشاء ولتسألن عما كنتم تعملون صدق الله العظيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي وأوفوا بعهد الله إذا عاهدتم. This is verse number 91 of Surah 16 that we are beginning from today, inshallah. وَأَوْفُوا بِعَهْدِ اللَّهِ, and fulfill the covenant of Allah. Allah's covenant, the oath that you have made with Allah, fulfill it. إِذَا عَاهَدْتُمْ, after you have made the oath. Fulfill Allah's oath after you have made the oath. وَلَا تَنْقُضُوا الْأَيْمَانِ, and do not break your oath بَعْدَ تَوْكِيدِهَا, after you have confirmed it, after you have taken an oath, do not break it. وَقَدْ جَعَلْتُمُ اللَّهَ عَلَيْكُمْ كَفِيلًا, and you have made Allah a surety. You have made Allah a surety in those oaths. You have brought the name of Allah and you have sanctioned that oath with the name of Allah, then do not break those oaths. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَعْلَمُ مَا تَفْعَلُونَ, indeed Allah knows what you are doing. The Bani Israel, the Jews who were living in Medina Munawwara, they had taken oaths that when the final prophet comes, when the last prophet comes, we will believe in him. And they had even gone further and said that we will fight with him against you. They would tell the Makkans, they would tell the pagans that يَسْتَفْتِحُونَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. Quran says they used to say that we will get victory because of him over you. So not only will we believe in him, but we will fight with him against you. He will be on our side. We are going to be on his side. So Quran says, do not break those oaths after you have made them. وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّتِي نَقَضَتْ غَزْلَهَا, and do not be like the woman who unspun her after she had spun the wool. After she had spun and made a handicraft, there was a woman in Makkah Mukarramah who was mentally disturbed. So she would weave. You've seen women weave with wool, a sweater or a blanket. And she would weave it together. And you know how tedious and time consuming that is? After having spun it together, what would she do? She would take it all apart. Thread by thread, she would take it all apart. And then she would begin again. And she would spin it, make something nice. And then after having made it, then what would she do? She would unspun. She would take it apart thread by thread. If it's referring to Bani Israel, then the similarities is between this woman spinning thread and then unspinning it The similarity is that they did the same with the Torah. They put the Torah together thread by thread, concocting a story in which they said they would believe in Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he came, the final prophet. But when he came, they disbelieved it. And so they made the, they had the Torah there, but now they had to what? They had taken oaths. The oaths that they had taken was like thread that they had put together, and now they disbelieved in him, they rejected him, so now they have to take it apart, their Torah, verse by verse, line by line. تَتَّخِذُونَ أَيْمَانَكُمْ دَخَلًا بَيْنَكُمْ. You take your oaths as a means of deception amongst yourself. أَن تَكُونَ أُمَّةٌ هِيَ أَرْبَى مِنْ أُمَّةٍ. Arba from riba. What does riba? Arba, increase. أَن تَكُونَ أُمَّةٌ أَرْبَى مِنْ أُمَّةٍ. So one ummah does not become more numerous than the other ummah. The reason why you don't believe in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the reason why you are now taking your Torah apart line by line, is so that the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam does not become more numerous. Sometimes people are concerned more about numbers. The Catholic faith is at 2 billion and Muslims are at 1.5, and by 2025 Muslims will outnumber Catholics. That's not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at. أَن تَكُونَ أُمَّةٌ هِيَ أَرْبَى مِنْ أُمَّةٍ. So that one ummah, one nation does not become more numerous than another nation. إِنَّمَا يَبْلُوكُمُ اللَّهُ بِهِ. Allah tests you through this. وَلَا يُبَيِّنَنَّ لَكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. And Allah will clarify, open for you, put it on the table for you on the day of judgment. مَا كُنْتُمْ فِيهِ تَخْتَلِفُونَ. What you were differing in. Whatever you used to argue over or disagree over, Allah will make it clear for you on the day of judgment, once and for all. وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ. If Allah willed, لَجَعَلَكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً. Verse number 93. If Allah willed, He would have made you one ummah. In other words, everyone would have been believers. وَلَكِنْ يُضِلُّ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Allah, He sends astray whom He wills. وَيَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. And He guides whom He wills. As I said, it is never the intent of Allah. World domination is never the intent of Allah. There will always be believers and there will always be disbelievers. This is the system that Allah has put in place. Quran itself says in many numerous places, وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَهَدَى النَّاسَ جَمِيعًا. If Allah willed, He would have guided all the people. Here it says, وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ. If Allah willed, لَجَعَلَكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدَةً. He would have made you one ummah. In other words, He would have made you all believers. وَلَكِنْ يُضِلُّ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. It came close twice in history. It came close. Once, it was in the year 735. The Muslims came all the way up to France, into Spain, and then apart from Spain, they went where? Into France. The Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam left this world in the year 633. So this is 735, about 102 years later. And Charlemagne, anyhow, his great-great-grandfather was able to defeat the Muslim army. Okay. And if you look at it, it was all, the Muslim army left the battlefield. The graveyard is still in France, where the defeated Muslim army, their graveyard is still there in France to this day. You think it's a twist of fate, but it's the intent of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because if Muslims came into France, the rest of Europe was a walk in the park. And the Muslim army in the morning, in the middle of the night, they just left. To this day, no one knows why they left. The leader was killed, the one who was leading the Muslim army. But that was no reason to leave. If they had stayed and fought one more day, they would have what? Huh? Defeated the French army, which was very small in comparison to the Muslim army. And if that happened, all of Europe would have been Muslim. And if all of Europe was Muslim, then Christianity would not come to Africa, nor would it come to South America, nor would it come to North America, right? Because Christianity came to South America and North America from where? From Europe. And there's another occasion in 1667, Ottoman Empire, when they attacked Vienna, Italy. Anyhow, the Ottoman Empire was defeated. If the Ottoman Empire took Vienna at that time, Rome was next, and the rest of Europe was a walk in the park. But anyhow, so the Ottoman Empire actually was defeated in Vienna twice. This was from the east, France was from the west, actually, right? 735, it was from the west side. And this, when the Ottoman attacked, it was from where? From the eastern side of Europe. So to be honest, Christianity, we don't realize this, but Christianity from the beginning, from the time of the Sahaba Ikram, from the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, has always felt threatened by Muslims. Has always, because we have always been what? Knocking on the door of Europe. They have always felt threatened by Muslims, which makes perfect sense. Many of these areas were what? Were once Christian lands. Syria, Islam came, 1,000 years of Christianity came to an end. Right? Almost 1,000 years of Christianity came to an end and Islam came. Now Islam has come to an end from Syria, gone. Right? So 1,000 years of Islam has come to an end in Syria. But before that, Christianity, these were all Christian areas. Even Turkey, Istanbul was all what? Christian areas for millennia. Istanbul was the headquarters of the Eastern Christian Empire. Okay. So, they realized the strength of the Muslims is in the unity of the Muslims. Oh, they picked up on that. They said the strength of the Muslims is what? In the unity of the Muslims. So let's break the unity of the Muslims once and for all. Anyhow. وَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا, verse number 94. وَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا أَيْمَانَكُمْ دَخَلًا بَيْنَكُمْ فَتَزِلَّ قَدَمٌ بَعْدَ ثُبُوتِهَا. And do not make your oaths, do not take your oaths. Again, the same verse, a little different. Do not take your oaths as a means of deception amongst yourself. فَتَزِلَّ قَدَمٌ بَعْدَ ثُبُوتِهَا. Your foot will slip after it has been affirmed. وَتَذُوقُ السُّوءَ بِمَا صَدَدتُّمْ. And you will taste the punishment of hindering people from the path of Allah. وَلَكُمْ عَذَابٌ عَظِيمٌ. And for you is a severe torment. وَلَا تَشْتَرُوا بِعَهْدِ اللَّهِ ثَمَنًا قَلِيلًا. And do not purchase the worldly gain بِعَهْدِ اللَّهِ, in exchange for the covenant of Allah. The covenant of Allah, you give that away, you break that covenant in exchange for what? Some worldly benefit. إِنَّمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ هُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. And indeed what is with Allah is better for you, إِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ, if you knew. مَا عِنْدَكُمْ يَنْفَدْ. Whatever is with Allah, مَا عِنْدَكُمْ يَنْفَدْ. This is one of those ayats again that we should memorize. I hope someone is taking notes of this. مَا عِنْدَكُمْ يَنْفَدْ. Whatever is with Allah is going to yanfad, perish. Ma'indakum, whatever is with you is going to perish. وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ بَاقٍ. What is baq? Baqi rehne wala. وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ بَاقٍ. And whatever is with Allah is forever, will remain. Yanfad. Yanfad is a verb which means what? It's going to perish. Whatever is with you is going to perish. And وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ بَاقٍ. And whatever is with Allah is baq. In Arabic grammar is ism fa'il. That means it has more consistency in it. Let me give you an example. Runner and ran. What's the difference? He ran. Okay. Imam Sahib ran. Okay, that means he went jogging once, and that's it. He's never going to go jogging again, right? He ran. It's a one-time occasion. Then Imam Sahib was so tired and so exhausted, he said he's never going to do that again. So he ran, but doesn't mean he's going to run again, correct? Runner, he's a runner. When you say he's a runner, what does that mean? That this person, he's a pro. He's a runner. Look here, ma indakum yanfad. This is whatever is with you is what? Ran. In other words, is going to finish. Wa ma indallahi baq. Baq is similar to runner. Ma indakum yanfad. Whatever is with you is going to finish. Is similar to ran. The example that I gave. Whatever is with you is going to what? Finish. Go. It's not going to stay. وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ بَاقٍ. And whatever is with Allah is going to stay. It's going to remain. وَلَنَجْزِيَنَّ الَّذِينَ صَبَرُوا. And indeed we will reward, we will recompense those who practice patience, those who exercise sabr, ajrahum. Their reward, we are going to give them their reward بِأَحْسَنِ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. In proportion to the best of what they did. بِأَحْسَنِ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. In proportion to the best of what they did. One explanation, it gives us a lot of encouragement, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to look at all your deeds, and the best of what you did, He's going to reward all your deeds according to the best of what you did. In other words, let's say you prayed 4 rakat asr, and you couldn't remember whether you prayed 3 or 4, and you couldn't wait to be finished because you had something else to do. And while you were praying, you were thinking about something someone had said or something someone had done, or what you're going to do after you get done with prayer. You had no concentration in prayer. And let's say there's another prayer that you prayed with full concentration, and you really enjoyed it, and you felt like you were bonding with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you felt yourself coming close to Allah when you performed the sujood, and you really enjoyed the prayer. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is He going to reward you according to the first type of prayer or to the second type of prayer? He will reward you according to the second type of prayer. In other words, the better prayer. That's a pretty neat deal, right? Let's say you have 8 classes. One class you get A, a few classes you get B, on one class you get C, one class you get F. Allah is going to say, okay, I'm going to say that you got an A in all your classes, even though you got A in only one class. وَلَنَجْزِيَنَّ الَّذِينَ صَبَرُوا أَجْرَهُمْ بِأَحْسَنِ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. We will recompense, give reward to those who practice sabr in proportion to the best of what they have done. مَنْ عَمِلَ صَالِحًا مِنْ ذَكَرٍ أَوْ أُنْثَى. Whoever does good, مِنْ ذَكَرٍ أَوْ أُنْثَى, male or female, وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ, and he is a believer, فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبًا. We will give him a good life. We will give him a good life. Male or female, spiritually both are equal in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Spiritually there is no difference whatsoever between a male or a female. As far as their responsibilities and roles in this world, they're different. woman's roles and responsibilities are different, a male's role and responsibility are different. But in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no difference between the two. Man amila salihan min dhakarin aw untha. Whoever does good, male or female, and he or she is a believer, Quran says, فَلَنُحْيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبًا. We will give him a good life. What is a good life? One explanation is akhirah. As we refer to, good life is the what? The akhirah. The other explanation is dunya, that the good life Allah will give him is what? This life, the worldly life. Allah will give him a good life. That does not mean he's never going to become sick. That's part of life. It does not mean that he's not going to have his ups and downs in life. He will have his ups and downs in life. It simply means that even with all the ups and downs of life, he will not panic, he will always be content with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will not feel troubled. Even though he's going through troubles, but he will not feel as if he will be content with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again it says, وَلَنَجْزِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْرَهُمْ. We will give them their reward بِأَحْسَنِ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ, in proportion to the best of what they have done. فَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنِ, when you recite the Quran, verse number 98, فَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنِ, when you recite the Quran, فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ, then seek protection in Allah, مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ, from shaitan the accursed. The connection between this verse and the previous verses is, remember we began with the oath of Allah, and do not break the oath that you make with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person, why would he break the covenant of Allah? Why would he break oaths? Why would he use oaths as a means of deception? Because of shaitan. So now Quran says that seek protection in Allah from shaitan, the accursed. It is wajib to recite A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem before beginning the recitation of the Quran. You don't have to recite Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, but you do have to recite A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem. And it is better to recite, of course, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. But especially more so when you are beginning a surah. When you are beginning a surah, because Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is actually part of the beginning of a surah. In prayer, you are supposed to ask in the first rakat, after you recite Thana, Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa tabaraka ismuka wa jalla thana'uka wa la ilaha ghayruk wa ta'ala jadduka wa la ilaha ghayruk, then you're supposed to recite Ta'awuz, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem. Then you're supposed to recite Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Then you're supposed to recite Surah Fatiha. In the second rakat, in the third rakat, if there is a third rakat, and in the fourth rakat, if there is a fourth rakat, you only recite Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim at the beginning of Surah Fatiha. Is that clear? But in the first rakat, you recite both Ta'awuz and Tasmiyah. Called Ta'awuz and Tasmiyah. Ta'awuz is what? A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem. And Tasmiyah is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Okay. As long as you are in that same sitting or in that same gathering, if you have recited Ta'awuz once, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem, that is sufficient. Now, reciting A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem, for any other book, religious book, let's say a book of hadith, or any other book, is not recommended. Ta'awuz is only for what? Quran. I've seen many people, they'll pick up a book of hadith and they'll say A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ta'awuz is only for what? Quran. Bismillah is for every other book. Okay. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. If you pick up a book of hadith, book of seerah, or any task, any noble task that you do, okay, Even your AP biology, you can say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. But Quran, but ta'awuz is only for Quran. You also recite ta'awuz right, when you want protection from shaitan. For when would you seek protection from shaitan? When you see a dream, a frightening dream. Then what are you supposed to do? In the middle of the night, let's say you see a frightening dream. That dream that is frightening is most probably from shaitan. So you make this, the sound of spitting. You don't actually spit on your spouse. You make the sound of spitting. You say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. And then you what? Turn around. So if you were facing the right, you face the left. And if you were facing the left, you read A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim and you face the right. If you're getting angry, anger is from where? Shaitan. What would you do? You would recite Ta'awud. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. فَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنَ. Why would you recite ta'awuz at the beginning of Quran? When you're getting angry, yes, right? Because anger is from where? Shaitan. Bad dreams are from shaitan. But what about Quran? Quran, you would need to recite ta'awuz more than anywhere else because a person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has what? He has both attributes. He guides and He what? Sends astray. Right? So His kalam, His speech also has both attributes. Quran itself says, Yahdi bihi man yasha. Allah guides through this Quran many. Man yasha, whom He wills. And what? وَيُدِلُّ bihi man yasha. And Allah misleads many through this Quran. Right? Aqim as-salah, right? That in Surah Bani Israel, that ruku. What's the verse? Inna rabbaka ya'lamu. Aqim as-salata liduluki ash-shamsi ila ghasaqi al-layli wa Qur'an al-fajr. Inna Qur'an al-fajri kana mashhuda wa min al-layli fatahajjad bihi nafilatan lak. عسى أن يبعثك ربك مقاما محمودا وقل ربي أدخلني مدخل صدق وأخرجني مخرج صدق واجعلني من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا وقل جاء الحق وزهق الباطل إن الباطل كان زهوقا وننزل من القرآن we send of the Quran ما هو شفاء ورحمة للمؤمنين. What is shifa, cure, ورحمة and mercy للمؤمنين for the believers. وَلَا يَزِيدُ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا خَسَارًا. And what does the Quran do? It only increases the loss for the disbelievers. So a person what? So if a person does not recite ta'awuz, he does not seek protection in Allah, because reciting ta'awuz is like entering a fort, and the enemy cannot attack you or come near you. You are protected inside the fort. So reciting ta'awuz helps protect you from being misled. إنه ليس له سلطان على الذين آمنوا. Indeed, he has no sultan, he has no power. What is sultan? Power. Shaitan has no power على الذين آمنوا, against the believers, against those who believe. وعلى ربهم يتوكلون, and those who have put their trust in Allah. إنما سلطانه, his power indeed is against who? يتولونه, those who follow him, those who embrace him, those who hug him, those who follow his path. And say, yes sir. A person, he allows himself to be misled. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ بِهِ مُشْرِكُونَ, and those who are the pagans. Those who are the ones who Shaitan has a hold on them. وَإِذَا بَدَّلْنَا آيَةً مَكَانَ آيَةً, and when we change one ayat in place of another ayat, Here's an example of how they would object on the Quran. وَإِذَا بَدَّلْنَا آيَةً مَكَانَ آيَةً. When Allah would change, بَدَّلْنَا from badalna. وَإِذَا بَدَّلْنَا آيَةً. When we change one ayat, makana ayah, makan, place, makana ayah, in place of one ayat, وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا يُنَزِّلُ. And Allah knows full well what He reveals, what He sends down. قَالُوا, they say, the Makkans would say, إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُفْتَرٍ. Indeed, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you are a forger. You are one who is a liar, is one who is forging the Quran. If the Quran is the truth, then how come there's one ayat and then what? Then you say, oh, that ayat is cancelled, here's another ayat in place of that ayat. We discussed this, right? It's mansukh. Some ayats have been abrogated. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed an ayat for a period of time and then it was abrogated. An example of that is the ayat regarding alcohol, right? That's an example of mansukh. It says, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَأَنْتُمْ سُقَارَى. Do not come close to prayer in a state that you are intoxicated. That means you can drink scotch on rocks, you can drink, but not when it's close to prayer time. Obviously that ayat has been what? Abrogated. إنما الخمر والميسر والرجس والأزلام رجس من عمل الشيطان فاجتنبوه. Indeed, alcohol and gambling, these are all from the works of shaitan, from the filth of shaitan. فاجتنبوه, so stay away from it. قل نزله روح القدس من ربك. Say, نزله روح القدس. Say, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, say, نزله روح القدس. روح القدس, Jibreel alayhi salam has sent. نزله روح القدس. Jibreel alayhi salam has brought this من ربك, from your Lord, بالحق, with the truth. ليثبت الذين آمنوا, to confirm, to affirm those who have believed. وهدى, and this Quran is a guidance. وبشرى, and glad tidings. للمسلمين, for those who submit. وَلَقَدْ نَعْلَمُ, and indeed we know أَنَّهُمْ يَقُولُونَ, that they say, إِنَّمَا يُعَلِّمُهُ بَشَرٌ, that a human being, bashar, teaches him. That a human being teaches Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What did they say? This was another objection of theirs, that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he is bringing this from where? From the Torah, the Old Testament. Because many of these stories are mentioned where? In the Torah. The story of Nuh alayhi salam building the ark is mentioned in the Torah. And story of Fir'aun and Musa alayhi salam and the sea splitting and the stick turning into a snake is all mentioned where? These are all stories from the Torah. Adam alayhi salam and Hawa, right? And eating the fruit of the forbidden tree and being sent down to earth is mentioned where? In the Old Testament. So they say, oh, maybe Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he is, what do they call it? Plagiarizing. Students know well what plagiarizing is. They do what? They copy from it. It's not their own work. They copy it and then they give it to the teacher, the essay, and they present it as if it is their own work. Nowadays, there's a software program that the teachers can use to find out if that work is existing anywhere in print. So what do the teachers do? They enter a few sentences from what their student has written down into this computer program, and that computer program will tell them if this has already been in print or published somewhere. So what do the students do? They go back and what? They try to outsmart the system. So they plagiarize. But they will change the words. They will change the words around. It won't be the exact words, but they will make sure that every single word is in what? So they will paraphrase. What do? Paraphrase. Paraphrase means they say the exact same thing but in different words. So they say, oh, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has paraphrased, or he plagiarized. Well, and who has he learned this from? He has learned it from a person. There's three people that Orientalists accuse Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam of having learned from. One is Waraqa ibn Nawfal. You know Waraqa ibn Nawfal? The cousin of Khadija radiallahu anha, who, right, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam first received the revelation, she took him to Waraqa ibn Nawfal, who was a Christian. He's the one who predicted that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would be forced, time will come when he would be forced to leave Makkah. And he said, "Amukhrijiyya ana, will I be forced to leave Makkah?" Anyhow, second person is when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam went on a trip to before marrying Khadija radiallahu anha, he used to what? Go on these business caravans, these business trips where he would take wealth, he would sell it. The wealth would belong not to him but to Khadija radiallahu anha. And then and of course he would have a share in the profit because he took his time and effort and traveled with the caravan and sold the goods and then brought it back, the profit. On one of those trips he met a monk, a rahib. So they will say, oh, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has learned from someone, that monk that he met in Syria on one of those trips. The third person, this is what the ayat is referring to actually, is a person by the name of Jibr. He was a, what you would call welder or a blacksmith. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would sit with him on occasion. So they would say that he has indeed learned from this human being. وَلَقَدْ نَعْلَمُ أَنَّهُمْ يَقُولُونَ إِنَّمَا يُعَلِّمُهُ بَشَرٌ. And we know that they say that indeed a human being has taught him. لِسَانُ الَّذِي, now Quran answers, لِسَانُ الَّذِي يُلْحِدُونَ إِلَيْهِ أَعْجَمِيٌّ وَهَذَا لِسَانٌ عَرَبِيٌّ مُبِينٌ. The language, the lisanul ladhi, the language which they are referring to of this person is foreign. It's a foreign language. A'jami. This welder in Makkah, who Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam on occasion once or twice sat with him, is what? Is foreign. He was a foreigner. He was not fluent in Arabic language. وَهَذَا لِسَانٌ عَرَبِيٌّ مُبِينٌ. And this is clear, open Arabic language. The point is that it's not that Nuh alayhi salam's story is mentioned in the Old Testament and Nuh alayhi salam's story is mentioned in the Quran. That's not the point. The point is what? This is what? In Arabic language. The difference that I showed you between ran and runner. مَا عِنْدَكُمْ يَنْفَدْ وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ بَاقٍ. Right? What is with you is going to perish, and whatever is with Allah remains. That is beyond human capacity to come up with such eloquence. This is the Quran in Arabic language. That person, he did not speak Arabic language, or for that matter, if he spoke Arabic language, he was still what? He was not Arab. Maybe he spoke Arabic language, like some of us, we speak English, right? But the English language we speak is what? Pretty broken, isn't it? Especially those who have spent more than half of our lives back home, right? They can get by, right? But it's not the same as someone who has born here and grew up here and can speak the English language. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ. Indeed those لا يؤمنون بآيات الله, who do not believe in the signs of Allah, لا يهديهم الله, Allah will not guide them. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ, and for them is a severe torment. We'll stop here inshallah. Okay.